home, got some sleep, ready to roll today.
Cool. We are so honored to have you on our team call today. I was trying to say tonight, but today, that you accept our invite for a team from Quebec. It's really, really, I don't have any words, so I'm really, really grateful. I'm going to say a little words in French to everybody, and after I'm going to let Mel, my success partner, say a little presentation about you. It's fine?
Sounds good.
Merci tout le monde d'être ici aujourd'hui. Vous n'avez pas idée. Comme on a toujours été des gens d'équipe. C'est pour ça que je l'ai proposé à tous les diamants, que ce soit mon équipe et les diamants. Feel free to share after. Okay, tout le monde. So Mel.
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. It's funny that you said that you're stuck in Toronto. I'm actually a flight attendant, and I was supposed to fly to Toronto, but I didn't. I think there was a snowstorm, and I ended up in Calgary, and I was so bummed because I was going to miss yesterday's call. And when Marie said that you were stuck, I was like, yay! I got home yesterday too, and I got to be here for the call today. So I'm really excited. So everyone, this is Melanie Mitro. I think everyone knows who she is. If you do not, then I think you need to start reading a lot of stuff about Beachbody. But she's the 2014-2015 top coach, Superstar Diamond 3. You're on the coach advisory board. You're 3 times elite coach. And I'm very happy to say that I got to see you on stage at Summit. And I was trying to remember exactly how they had called you were beautiful mess. What was it again?
No, it was hot mess. It was
hot mess. So here's Melanie Mitro, the hot mess. So the call is yours, Melanie. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks guys for being flexible and being able to change the time and still showing up today. I appreciate it. I'm not somebody that likes to cancel, but it was definitely out of my control. So I could not help that. But I had the opportunity this past weekend to spend some time in Moncton in New Brunswick and share with some coaches up there. I actually have a Star Diamond, Megan Shanahan, who lives there, and I went to visit her and present to the coaches in that area. So, and I'm actually going to talk to you guys a little bit of the same stuff that I shared with them because it was so well received and so powerful. And so how many of you guys have been coaches and you're new coaches within the last 6 months in the business? Any new coaches in the last 6 months? No? A year? Are you guys diamonds? Are you all mostly diamond coaches? Is everybody on this call diamond and above?
Diamond, yeah.
Diamond and above. Okay. So you guys you asked me to speak on mindset and consistency and really with the focus of where you should go in your business. And so that's really what I've prepared for you guys today, is to really hammer in on basically what I have done to get my business to where it is today. And really basically what was the mindset that I have had for the past 5 years. So let me just kind of preface by starting out and sharing with you a little bit about my story so I can set the stage, because you see me as this 2-time top coach and I have all these accolades, but I started somewhere and probably it resonates with you guys. So 5 years ago, it'll be 5 years on May 2nd that I joined a challenge group. So I started with Beachbody as a challenger. I have 2 boys. Bryce, who is my youngest, he was 6 months at that time. And Landon was a toddler. He was about 2.5. So they were 22 months apart. And I was, coming out of that point where I was ready to start working out again. But here was the deal. We had made the decision to go from both Matt and I working full-time down to a single family income, because my entire goal in life was to be a stay-at-home mom. So I went to school. I got my master's degree in special education. My undergrad is psychology. I paid to get this education, but in the back of my mind, that was my security blanket. In case I ever needed a job, I was educated and could get one, but I really just wanted to raise my children. And so we made that sacrifice, that commitment to cut all corners. We stopped taking vacations. We stopped eating out. We really just lived the bare minimum. We lived in a townhouse in a nice neighborhood, you know, but it was bare minimum. So when I decided that I needed to do something about the way I looked, the first thing that I thought was, I've got to go to a gym. I've got to sign up for classes. I have to get a personal trainer. I don't know how to do this on my own. But it was like somebody tied my hands behind my back because, number one, we couldn't afford to do that. So how was I going to change my body? And I was sitting on my bed in our bedroom, and I had the bins of clothes. I don't know if you guys do this, where you switch like your summer clothes and your winter clothes. Like I have these bins, right? So I was dragging out my summer clothes and I was trying things on. I don't know what it is about having babies, but I swear your body just magically changes, and all of a sudden the things that fit you before no longer fit. Like they get shorter. I don't know. It's like everything becomes like a crop top. And so I had nothing to wear. And I definitely sat on my bed that day and shed a few tears. I remember thinking to myself, how did I let myself go? But in the same sense, I didn't want to be angry because I had two beautiful boys, and that is a blessing in and of itself. So I was trying to embrace the situation with a positive attitude. And so I sat down on the couch and I grabbed some celery and some peanut butter, and I made a Facebook post, which I was not a Facebook person. I didn't post on Facebook. So it's weird to me that I wrote this, and I put on Facebook that I was eating celery and trying to lose weight and trying to get back in shape. And so my husband's friend from high school, his wife was a Beachbody coach, and she messaged me. And she said, hey, you know, I saw your post on Facebook. I am a coach. I'm running this summer slim down challenge group. Would you be interested in joining? And I had no idea what Beachbody was. I didn't know anything about the fitness programs, but I said, sure, tell me what I need to do. And so she said, you just need to choose a fitness program. She didn't require me to buy Shakeology. So I didn't buy Shakeology. I actually borrowed Insanity from somebody down the street that had a burned copy. I didn't even buy a real copy. It was totally ripped off. And I signed up for a free account, and I joined her Summer Slim Down Challenge. So right there, I was not your ideal customer at all. I was probably the person that most of you say, no, I'm sorry, you can't join my group, right? So you gotta be careful who you tell no to, right? And so anyways, I borrowed these DVDs, and I decided, I took my before pictures. I used the self-timer on my camera. I had the big old honking camera. I had a flip phone with no Wi-Fi access, right? So I set my self-timer on my camera, took my before pictures. I was actually holding a piece of paper that said May 2nd, 2011. And I was holding that, and I took all these pictures of myself, and then I cried. And then I took those pictures and I hid them underneath of a file, under another file, in another file, that if I ever died and somebody got on my computer, they could never find those before pictures, because I was mortified that was what I looked like. And so I began my journey of losing weight. Every day I would go down to the basement, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd put both boys down for a nap. I'd take the baby monitor, and I would press play on my workouts. And every day I would go down there, and I would usually cry during the warm up because it was so hard that I could hardly get through the workouts. And I would look at myself in the mirror, and I would say, it's not happening fast enough. I'm not changing fast enough. And so I was going through the first 30 days of Insanity, and I lost 2 pounds. I was really frustrated. And so I went to my coach and I said, all right, I'm cardioing myself to death, but I'm not getting the results. And she said, you know, Melanie, have you ever heard of clean eating? I said, no, I actually haven't. And so she said, you know what, get this book. And she told me about the Eat Clean Recharged book, and the author is Toscarino. And so I went and I bought the book. I went to Barnes and Nobles that day, bought the book, and I read it from cover to cover in one weekend. And so I started just making a meal plan and a grocery list. And so I went to the grocery store. I think it took me 3 hours to grocery shop that first time, because I was looking for these ingredients, and it just took a lot of mental energy. But in the month 2 of Insanity, I lost 9 pounds in a month. And so I lost 11 pounds doing Insanity. I was starting to see the changes happening in my body. I was nowhere near where I wanted to be yet, but I fell in love with clean eating, with the workouts, with the fact that if I followed the plan, X, Y, and Z, the nutrition, the fitness, like I was going to get results. And I'm a check it off the box kind of girl. If you give me a plan, I will do it. But then I loved this support group, this system that had been created for me. And I really loved talking about this with like-minded people. That to me was awesome. And so my coach started to kind of plant the seed. Hey, Melanie, have you ever thought about being a coach? You know, she sent me a link to watch a business opportunity, just like a little 7-minute video that Beachbody created that's in our back office. And she said, here, watch this. This is about coaching. Let me know what you think. And so I watched it and I'm like, this sounds awesome. I think I could do this, but I don't know. So then I started P90X. And the more I was doing these workouts, the more I was seeing my body change, the more I was thinking to myself, man, if I could just tell people about this, if I could just get one person, if I could change one person's life the way I had been changed, this is all worth it. And just the seed has definitely been planted. And my coach took me to Starbucks. We sat down, we talked about it. I came home, I said, hey, Matt's my husband. I said, I think I want to be a Beachbody coach. He said, I really think I could help people. If you know my story, you know that he is the most unsupportive spouse ever in the history of Beachbody. I think he takes the award because he was like, no, absolutely not. It is a scam. It is a ripoff. It is a pyramid scheme. You are not going to be a Beachbody coach. If you want a job, I will put the kids in daycare and you can go get a real job. That's what he said to me. And so at that point, I sort of let the idea kind of die for a little while. And then we came back to it again. And I just kept thinking about it. Just couldn't get it off my mind. And so I it was July of 2011. And I get money for my birthday every year. So my family, my grandparents all give money. And so I took that money and I went on to Beachbody's website and I signed up to be a coach. There were no challenge packs at that time, so I had to pay $40. I bought a bag of Shakeology and I signed up to be a coach, but I didn't tell Matt. I didn't actually tell him for an entire week that I signed up. And when I did, I got the same response that I got the first time that I asked him about it. And he was like, you are so stupid. I can't believe you wasted your money on that bag of powder. Don't ever think you're purchasing that again. We do not have the money for that, so enjoy it. And, if that's what you want to waste your money on, fine. And so in the back of my mind, part of me was like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I know that this works. I'm going to prove you wrong. And the other part of me was a little bit deflated, but I got to work on proving to him that it works. But also, I just really wanted to help people feel good about themselves. And I really wanted them to understand that food is not about counting calories. It's not about low fat and fat free. That clean eating was kind of where it's at. So I started with a challenge group. Now, I had less than 100 friends on Facebook. I have no social media background. I know nothing about network marketing. I had to Google what a pyramid scheme was because I didn't know what it meant when people accused me of being a part of it. And, there was we was in a very small town. So there was no Beachbody coaches. Nobody had heard of it before. And I didn't have any money. So I couldn't pay to do promotions. I had to do it on my own. I had to build the business from the ground up. And my sponsor coach and my upline sponsor coach were brand new. We all signed up within 3 months of one another. All right. So so when people give me the excuses of I don't have support, I don't know anything about social media, I'm like, I don't hear it because I did all of that and I did it myself. I would consider myself self-taught. But I attribute my success to a few key mindsets and actions that I have in my business that still carry on. So now you know where I am, right? You know that I started just like the rest of you. I decided that Facebook, my personal Facebook page, was going to be my primary area of business. And I started a blog at the same time. And I created the blog again on my own. I went to blogger.com. I created my Committed to Getting Fit blog. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just started blogging. I just started sharing recipes and I started sharing tips. And every single day I woke up with the intentions of not selling, but sharing. I wanted to wake up and I wanted to add value to people's lives. So it was not about selling a product. It was, how could I teach people to make better choices? How could I teach people to live a healthier lifestyle? So my social media was teaching people. So I would share my morning workout selfie, but it was not just about, look at me, I worked out today. It was more or less like, this is what's going on in my mind. I know that it's like this morning, one step at a time. You can't look at your fitness program on day one and just expect to magically get day 90 results in 1 week. It is going to take you one step at a time, showing up every single day, but you have to trust the process. So this morning, I just didn't post about my workout. I talked to people in a way that hopefully inspired them to keep going, especially thinking back to the point in my physical transformation where I wanted to quit, where I questioned the process, and I want people to trust it. Then other things I would share is recipes. So here I am 5 years ago, changing our entire family's nutrition and the way we lived. I learned a lot by reading that book. So every day I started taking things that I was learning and sharing it. So drink your water. How much water should you drink in a day? If I was doing a water challenge with myself, I was sharing about it. I was teaching people how much water you should drink in a day. If I was going to the park with the boys for a play date with some friends, what do most people do? They hit up the drive-thru, they grab some sandwiches, they get their kids a Happy Meal, and then what happens? We as moms, we tend to put ourselves in the back burner and we just nitpick at whatever our kids have on their plates. And so I would take a picture of what I packed in my cooler, my Shakeology, an apple, some almonds, my kids' healthy sandwich, my kids' healthy snacks. I would take a picture of it and then I would narrate how I was staying on track, how I took an extra 10 minutes to make a healthy snack and we're all staying on track. When we traveled, we went on vacation. If I packed snacks, I took food with me, I talked about it. How did I get my workouts in? What is my mindset? And so every day it was not buy from me, join my challenge group. Although there was an element of that, I was trying to develop a trust with people. So did it happen automatically? Did people just automatically just come through the woodwork when I posted my initial, hey, I'm a coach post? No. Just like many of you, I got 0 likes. Even on my first 3 to 4 weeks as a coach, sometimes nobody liked my morning workout pictures. Sometimes people didn't make a comment on the recipes I was sharing. The blog post I was writing, I would see I got 1 view or 2 views on what I was writing. And all I could think about was trust the process, trust the process. It works. I know it works. I know that out there somewhere I am going to inspire people. And I can never forget the moment when I was in the grocery store and somebody that I go to church with came up to me and said, Melanie, you are so inspiring. I've been following your blog. I've been making some of the recipes that you're posting and they're really good. And I started working out. And I took a step back and I was like, wow, okay, it's working. This person's never liked anything. I didn't even know that they were following me, but they're there. And I thought, okay, keep going, keep going. And then it started happening more and more. Sometimes people would tell me that I was crazy. They could never do what I'm doing, getting up at 5 a.m. to work out, but I'm inspiring them and maybe someday they'll do it, right? And then other people, were telling me that I was annoying them and they were going to unfollow me because they couldn't stand seeing my posts, right? So I got it all. But I had this mindset that failure was not an option. Never, not 1 minute when I pushed submit on signing up as a coach did I think I was going to fail. I never questioned myself. I just knew that no matter what, I was going to find a way. Somehow, some way, I was going to succeed in this business. And so I think a lot of times we as coaches, we give a deadline or a time frame on our own success. And we say, you know what, if I don't hit diamond by this date, then it's not going to work for me. If I'm not making this much money by this date, then I'm going to quit. Or if I don't. And so I never looked at it that way. It took me 9 months to become a diamond coach. It took me 6 months to get my first customer off of my blog. I didn't hit Success Club my first month, but every month after that, I hit Success Club 10. And I've never missed it since then. Never. I just looked at it as I was going to find a way to make it work. And that's a really important mindset, to not feel like, okay, I signed up to be a coach. I'm entitled to this success. I'm showing up every day. I'm posting my workout. I should have customers coming to me. You're not entitled to anything. You have to go out there and be value driven, be hardworking, and realize that your success is a direct result of your daily actions and intentions in your business. And so when you work hard for your own success and it's not handed to you, it's not built for you, I think you go at it from a very different angle. So ask yourself right now, do I have the mindset of failure is not an option? Do you believe that each failure that you have had in your business, each setback, each coach that cancels, each Shakeology customer that just, puts their Shakeology HD on hold or suspends their order, that's a sign that you shouldn't continue on? Because it's not. And if you look at every entrepreneur out there, they go from failure to failure without losing faith in the bigger process. And so that's a key thing. So what's your mindset? And I started my personal development began with the book, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And I really think that was probably the most important book I've ever read, because how many of you have ever built a business before? Beachbody? 2 of you? 2 of you out of 33 that I can physically see at this point, right? So here's the thing. The majority of you are just like the rest of us, where we came into this wanting to get a physical transformation, wanting to help people, wanting to inspire just one person. We wanted to start a challenge group, but we didn't know how the business worked, and I didn't either. I just wanted to help people. But then as I went along and I saw, if I hit this Success Club, I can earn this trip. If I hit Success Club, I can get these rewards. Oh, okay, so what's Emerald? Let me get to Emerald. And every single month I just started adding to the puzzles, to the pieces of the puzzle together. But The Slight Edge was it. I read that book, and the words jumped off of the page that you will be willing to do what other people are not willing to do now, so that you can have what other people wish they could have 5 years from now. And so I would think about that. Every morning, I would set my alarm for 5 a.m. And there were nights that Bryce would be up because he wasn't sleeping through the night. And there were nights that Landon would be up because he was being woken up by Bryce, and I was tired, and I was still nursing, and I was at home. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I'm house cleaner, I am maid, I'm whatever I needed to be to the family, right? And I'm running on zero. But when that alarm would go off, I would say to myself, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. I'm willing to do what other people are not, because I see these success stories and I believe that I can do it too. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't have all the puzzles pieces laid out for me. I don't know what the path's going to entail, but I'm going. And if you're not coming with me, fine, but I'm still going, even if you're not coming with me. And so I would get up. And so I started to have this discipline that I created for myself. And so in that book, The Slight Edge, they talk about these small, daily, seemingly insignificant tasks that nobody would notice if you did them or didn't do them. But because you choose to do them daily over time, you create a compound effect, and these results begin to happen. And so that's how I looked at the 3 vital behaviors. And that's how I looked at, number 1, posting on social media, inviting, following up. I started to say to myself, I'm going to show up every single day. And I did just that. 3 to 5 times a day, without fail, rain or shine, on vacation, whether I'm sick or I'm healthy or whatever, I was posting 3 to 5 times a day. I was working out. I did not miss a workout. I would check that off the box. I followed my nutrition plan. I posted my food. I mean, when everybody else was snoozing, I was doing what I needed to be doing. And so I started to create discipline for myself. Even on the weekends, when I had a rest day, I would get up at 5 a.m. and I would work my business. And I would think to myself, okay, my kids may not get up until 7. If I get up at 5 and it's a rest day, I can get 2 hours of work in. Then I can do it again on Sunday. I can get 2 hours. That's 4 hours. And then you take that by 4, take 4 hours a week times 4 weeks out of the month times what? How many weeks are there in a year? How many hours am I ahead in my business than the person that chooses to take their rest day and sleep in? How many hours am I ahead of the person that hits the snooze button for an hour every single morning? I'm ahead. My compound effect is adding up in the hours that I'm putting into my business. And so that was kind of the first thing, is I was very focused and I was dedicated to my results, and I was consistent with showing up. But I'll tell you, when I first started creating this routine for myself, I was doing what many of you did. I was showing up, but I wasn't doing the right activities. I was scrolling through Facebook. I was refreshing my back office to see if that order had gone through 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right? I was wasting time thinking. I was that person that organized my office 20 times to try to make sure. And how many of you have gone through a million different organizational systems to try to find the right one that works for you? And so you're spending all of this time doing all the wrong things. So when you think about the consistency and discipline in your business, it's got to be consistency and discipline in the right areas. And so when I was starting out, I was reading that to many of us, grow a business while we're working another full-time job. And so that full-time job may actually be another job you physically go to, or it may be that you're a parent, or you're a caretaker, or you do other things, or you volunteer, right? So we all have stuff that we have responsibilities outside of Beachbody. But from reading, it takes 10 to 15 hours of focused time, full-time focus on your business to build a successful organization. And that success is really determined by you. But that 10 to 15 hours needs to be focused on the right behaviors. And that takes discipline. That takes discipline. It starts with your workouts. It starts with setting business hours. It starts with your posting 3 to 5 times a day. If you're a blogger or Instagram or whatever, but showing up consistently. It's also, goes into your challenge groups and running a challenge group every single month, not just once in a while, but every month. I had a coach tell me that they couldn't run more than one challenge group at a time. And I'm like, well, too bad. You got to get over that. You have to run a challenge group every single month. And if you really want to be successful, you're going to have to do 2 a month. Because you can't just land yourself at Success Club 5 and expect to have success. You have to shoot for Success Club 10. That's such a really important key vital piece in this business, is that if you are trying to really turbocharge yourself and get to the next level, some of you are looking at Elite and Premier and Star Diamond, you really have to say to yourself, I can't just be bringing in 3 to 5 new people every single month. That is not going to cut it. It's the law of, it is a numbers game to an extent. You have to get 10 plus Success Club points a month. And so what I did was I really looked at this business as 24/7, whatever it takes to build a business. And so that is really where I began to create that consistency. So stay-at-home mom, I can do things whenever I want. I created my own business hours. I got my Google Calendar out and I started to block out my business time. I know many of you try to wing it. You just try to fit it in whenever it's convenient. But if you're trying to create this sort of business, you can't just bank on whenever it's convenient. You have to treat this business like a business. Because if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like one. You're never going to find the time. So go in and create a calendar for yourself. So I actually started by blocking out. I got up early. I made the sacrifice. Got up at 5 a.m. I did my workout, went straight to my computer, did my power hour. And my power hour consisted of inviting, making my posts, following up, finding new people to add to my friends list to start conversations with. Those were the things I did, my personal development. That's it. Everything else went to the wayside. And I worked as fast as my little fingers would type until somebody woke up. And that was my morning work session. And then at 2 o'clock, when my kids went down for a nap, my workout's already done, so I don't have to do that. I would sit down, and again, I'd have another focused hour in the day where, hey, I get everything that's most important done first, and if the kids sleep a little longer, that's bonus. I can do something else. And then they would go to bed at night, and instead of sitting down and watching TV like I used to, straight to the computer, same thing, from 9 to 10 o'clock at night. And so I made sacrifices. I stopped watching TV. I stopped searching the internet. I stopped going through Pinterest. I stopped just aimlessly scrolling. I became focused because my goal, again, I was willing to live my life like many people are not willing to live it for a short period of time. And you look at the success that I've created in 5 years. If you could live your life for 5 years not watching TV, I think you would survive. I think now I can watch TV and it's okay, right? So you have to ask yourself, this might seem hard now, but what do you really want? And I shared this on Saturday, and it was it really kind of made me even step back, and I thought, okay, I've lived my life 5 years, very disciplined, my laundry didn't get done. My house was messy. There was always dirty dishes in the sink. I did laundry when we needed underwear. That was basically it, right? My husband is like, what is going on? I shoved toys in closets. Most of the time our beds weren't made because I was so focused on building this business, so focused. But guess what? Who's going to remember that? Who's going to remember the dirty clothes, the dirty laundry? My kids are young. Their college tuitions are paid for. We paid off $30,000 in student loans. We have no mortgage. Our retirement is set. My husband left his full-time job. We know we can take a vacation when we want to take a vacation right now. And here's another thing. 5 years ago, so my kids just signed up for lacrosse. I don't know if lacrosse is big in your area, but Landon, my 7-year-old, wants to play lacrosse. That stuff's expensive. It cost us $300 in equipment, and that was like the cheap equipment. It wasn't even like name brand stuff. 5 years ago, I would have had to tell him no, because that would have been our grocery budget for an entire month. To 5 years of living my life the way most people won't, so that I can give that to my family, I think that's worth it. But so many people get caught up in the fact that it's hard, that they never see the bigger picture of their future and what it can hold. And so if you're just disciplined, if you're just consistent, you can have that too. It's just many people are not willing to do what it takes. And so I hope that that inspires you to even just make small changes right now, because they do make a big difference. Trust me, nobody will remember the messy house. Your kids will remember the things you've been able to provide and the memories that you've been able to create together. The next thing is vision and why. So when I'm thinking about my business, 6 months into the business, again, no idea what I was doing, no idea what network marketing was, no idea where I was going to be, just very disciplined. I got together with my coach and my upline. We sat at my kitchen table with poster board and magazines and Sharpie markers, and we started making a goal board together. We started to dream about what 2012 was going to look like. I was not yet a diamond coach. I was an emerald coach working my way to diamond. And my husband was standing at the kitchen counter giggling at us the whole time, thinking we're crazy, because I wrote on my goal board that I was going to be an elite coach. I said I was going to hit Success Club 10, 12 out of 12 months out of the year. I cut out a picture of Disney because that was the Success Club trip that year. I was like, I'm going to take my family to Disney. If I can do this, I can prove that this works, right? I wanted to take my family to Disney. Put a picture of that. Student loans, put a picture of that. Wanted to buy our first single family home. We were living in a townhouse. I put that on my goal board. I don't know what else. Oh, I wanted to get my goal body because I was still working on my own personal transformation at that time. So I wasn't really happy with where I was at yet. So I was working towards that. So I put all these things on my goal board, and I allowed myself to really dream big. Like, if there was no obstacles, what could I accomplish? I put it all on there, and I took it down to the basement, and I stuck it up on my wall where I was working out. And I remember my push goal. My push goal in the middle of that poster board in big black letters was my goal was to help 50 people transform their lives. Because if I focused on the people, all those other things would happen, because I would get Success Club points, I would earn months in Success Club, I would earn income from the commissions, I would transfer those people into coaches, right? I knew that if I helped more people, I was going to accomplish my goal. So I put a jar on my desk, and every time I signed up a challenger in a challenge group, I put their name in the jar. And at the end of the year, I had this jar full of people that I was helping. At the end of that year, I maybe did not reach all my goals. We did not buy a house. I did earn the Success Club trip. I didn't pay off all of our student loans, but I was an elite coach that year. I was not a 5-star diamond. No, I was a 2-star, and elite at that time was 2-star. I wanted to be 5-star at the end of the year. So I accomplished maybe half of my goals. But I had worked so hard every day at staring at that goal board that I started to create this momentum for myself. And so what happened was, in November of 2012, I missed going to leadership by 1 week. I missed the qualification for 2-star at that time by 1 week. And I remember saying to myself, I should be on that trip. How many of you have thought that to yourself? I deserve to be there. I deserve to be at that. I am a leader. And I'm watching all these people go that I'm like, I don't think they're a leader. I work harder than them. I should be on that trip. Then I said to myself, you know what, Melanie? You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. You're exactly in this position for a reason. This failure, this shortcoming, this missed benchmark does not define you. It doesn't define you. And from that point forward, I vowed I would never, ever miss another trip. And so I got to work on it. I said, you know what? I can control what I choose to do, and I'm going to get to work. And so in 2012, I went from 2-star to 5-star to 15-star to number 2 in the company in 12 months because I created that wheel and that momentum in my business. Doing the 3 vital behaviors, but being the best at everything I chose to do. Running the best challenge groups I could get. And coach trainings were something that we were just starting. So there was no coach basics. I created my own system for training new coaches. And then every month, if people quit, if people didn't show up, I showed up anyways. I was always there. And basically, I was moving forward whether they were or not. And I was doing what I believed that I could do. I was controlling the controllable. And so I knew, and many of you probably have coaches and you're saying, why aren't they doing what they need to be doing, right? You see it in them. You see that they have what it takes to be successful, that they're not meeting you halfway. And there comes a point where you have to say, I'm going with or without you. And I'm just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on finding more people. And that's what I did. I was always there for people, but I was focused on helping more and attracting more people. And I controlled what I could because I had a belief, without a shadow of a doubt, we were going to be a successful team no matter what. And I continue to pump that well. So many of you are at a pivotal point in your business where you've maybe gotten to diamond, you've maybe taken 2 steps back. Maybe you've gotten to star diamond and that coach quit. It's going to happen. Coaches are going to come and go out of your business. Diamond coaches are going to come and go. 1-star diamonds are going to quit the business because you know why? They don't have the belief. But if you think about in the compound effect, that pumping of the well, I don't know if you've heard that story, right? Where you pump the well and you're doing your vital behaviors, you're inviting, you're following up, you're adding your contact list, you're growing this presence on social media, and you start to get a drop. You just get 1 drop and it's like, okay, I'm on the right track. But if you keep pushing with as much force as you can, expecting nothing in return, right? Knowing that you're going to work a whole lot at the beginning of your business for nothing, to know that eventually that well, that pressure is going to build and that water is going to flow. Customers are going to start flooding the gates. People are going to start knocking down the door to be a part of your team. You're going to start having an abundance and you're going to have the same effort that you put in at the beginning, but you're going to produce more results. If you can stay focused on that, you will eventually attract and find the right people for your business. But you have to create that sense of urgency. It's not, you have to say to yourself, I'm pushing for this goal and I'm going to get there as fast as I can. So, that's another piece of it. You can't wait for somebody to dangle a prize in front of you or an incentive or a trip. You yourself have to find within that internal motivation to have success. And that, I believe, is what a lot of top coaches do, is we create that internal sense of drive and motivation and determination to have ultimate success in your business. All right. So last but not least, guys, you have to look at this business. You have to look at this business and you have to be able to see that bigger picture and that vision, even long before it happens. And so personal development is so important. If it wasn't for me surrounding myself with other successful people, they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that was one thing that I've always focused on. Surround myself with people that lift me up. Surround myself with people that are where I want to be. So surround yourself with the most successful people. Learn from those people. Read your personal development every single day. And then believe in yourself without a shadow of a doubt that you are meant to be successful and you will continue to grow. And I believe that every step along the way, my business evolved. So what I was reading at the beginning didn't serve the purpose as a diamond coach. And so maybe you're sitting here saying, how do I get this group of people to move in the direction that I want them to be? And so I started reading things like Personality Plus, because I was horrible at understanding other people and where they came from. So I'm a red personality. I am a take charge. I'm motivated by a challenge. I'm driven by a goal. But my blue personalities, they're not. If you push them, they're going to crumble. If you tell them to reach a deadline, they're going to freak out. If you are harsh with them and you're not compassionate, you don't develop a relationship, they're going to hate you. And so I burned some bridges at the beginning by being that domineering and pushing. I was pushing all the time. But once I started realizing, hey, not all my coaches are motivated this way. Some need recognition. Some need personal relationships. Some need, to know that they matter and they need to be edified and spotlighted on a team. And so once I started to understand how the team worked, I started to get better at leading. I started to lead differently. Then I began to realize, okay, I need my team more than they need me. And so I need to respect that. I need to realize that I need to, what do I need to change about myself, because I need them. So I can't scare them away. I've got to meet people where they're at. I can't be a bull in a china closet. I've got to have a little bit, I've got to have this balance within my team. And then it came to leadership. How do I lead? How do I lead an organization as it grows? What do I do? How do I train people to do what I've done? I had to create a system of duplication. But at every stage of the game, I had to be a constant learner. And so ask yourself, are you sitting back saying, I know it all, or I've got it all figured out, and listen to me, it's my way or the highway? Be open to what your team has to say, and be open to other people's opinions, because that makes a difference. And I learned that through personal development, by being able to ask the right questions in order to figure out what was going on with people at that point in their business. And then lastly, my last piece of advice for you is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your time should be spent building your personal business. 20% of your time should be spent training your team. How many of you are imbalanced? How many of you are spending all of your time trying to make people run this business that don't want to do it? Or you're spending a lot of time answering questions that could be answered on a group call or a team chat or in a Facebook group, or they could be finding it in the FAQs themselves. Because there is no guarantee that your team is going to be here tomorrow. The only guarantee that you have is the pipeline that you're filling. And you have to remember that. So you've got to remove some of that emotional component that you have, to your team. And you have to be able to say, if I stop running challenge groups, if I stop adding people to my network and inviting and following up, I could dry up and have nothing left. I can't rely on my team. So 80% has to be spent on you building your business. What can you streamline? What can you do in a group call? How do you get people to match your effort and intensity? Match them up with success partners. But I will tell you, that is the best piece of advice, because when I notice that I get out of balance, I notice that I stop having new challengers come into my challenge groups. I stop having people to talk to. My likes on my page go way down because I'm not working my personal business. And that is an ultimate key to continuing to having abundance in your business. All right? So I want to leave you with this. Your call to action, right, is to take action, to not be a collector of information, not to sit here and say, that was such a great inspirational and motivational call, and I'm so fired up, but to actually take 5 to 10 minutes after you hang up from this call and say, what do I need to change? What do I need to do in order to make some changes right now? There won't be a perfect time, so don't wait until next Monday to start. Right now. Maybe you need to realign your time. Maybe you need to clear some things off your schedule. Maybe you need to make more sacrifices. But ask yourself, what do I need to do in order to get to where I want to be? And then take it one day at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture, but literally say to yourself, today, what do I need to do to get me to where I need to be tomorrow? And if you start just looking at it, short-term goals, 24-hour time frame, I promise you that you are going to start seeing the needle change and go in your favor, and you will start to have more success in your business. So I hope that this helps. I hope this gives you lots to think about. And if there's anything else that you need from me, I've got a couple of minutes just to answer any questions you might have.
Is there someone having a question for Melanie?
Lena.
Attends, je vais essayer. Just wait, Lena.
Unmute Lena. There you go.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you so much for for all the valuable information. I took loads of notes
Good.
that I will first apply to my own business and then share with the team, because right now I would just run to my team page and share everything with them and make it about them. But I will take your advice and really put it in action for myself. So my question for you is very simple. How many hours do you work per week?
Mm-hmm.
And do you work on weekends?
So I think, my business has evolved and changed. So, it's hard to say because when I started as a coach, because now Matt's home and now this is my full-time career. So I put in a typical 40-hour work week because I can, because, he's home and is able to take care of the kids and do that stuff. So, I work a typical 40-hour a week now, but when I was just getting started, it was those chunks, like those 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. So I would say probably 4 hours a day was what I was putting in for the first 3.5 years of my business. And I worked weekends. But here's the thing. The weekends are different because the weekends are quiet. So on the weekends, on Friday nights, I'm not working. Thursday night, that's my husband time. We always watch TV together on Thursday night. So I may check in real quick with my challengers and then I'm out because it dies down. Like social media gets quiet Thursday on. But so I would get up on Saturdays and Sundays and I would plan. Like I would write blog posts and I would do my meal plan for the week and I would, send out emails. I would follow up. So my weekend time was kind of my time to get things together. And then during the week, was kind of the hustle and bustle of the week. And then it changed, as I was working towards, top 10, I was putting in a little more hours. I was definitely doing more nighttime calls, but now I'm to the point where I only do one evening call a week. And it's only Monday nights I do my team call. Everything else happens during the day. So I feel like for a while I was out of balance. I was working all the time. I was always on my phone, and I was never shutting it off. And I had to go through that in order to realize that I needed balance. And so I've just sort of rebalanced myself now. So yeah. So I would say, I still work 40 hours a week. But I'm okay with that because this is my full-time job and that's what I want it to be.
Cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're gonna take one more question. Shirley, I'm gonna unmute you. Go.
Hi, Melanie. I'm so happy to meet you and speak with you. It's not the first time I hear you say this speech. And then thank you so much. I wonder, when did your husband started to turn around after saying that it's just powder that you're putting your money into? What kind of support did he give you? When did that change?
Mm-hmm. So, everybody's husband is different, but Matt's a numbers guy. So he needed to see that I was making money for him to support me, number one. And so I was very focused on being able to, like the first 6 months I was a coach, I wanted to pay cash for Christmas. So I was like, if I can make enough money to pay for our Christmas presents, then that would validate to him. So I was very focused on making sure that I was getting Success Club points. At the time I was putting in, I was actually making an income back out of it. But I would say even then, 6 months in, not supportive. A year in, he went to Summit with me. I made him go to Summit. And you may have heard me say this before, like I threatened to send him home on a plane by himself if he called it a pyramid scheme in public at Summit to other people. But he, at that point, even going into Summit, he was not on board, but he happened to come to a general session where Carl was speaking about the vision and speaking about the company, and him being the businessman and the money guy was able to sit back and say, okay, this guy's legit. This business is legit. I see the vision. They have a really good mission. And he started to understand. And then he would talk to other husbands and he realized that he was not alone. We all are on the computer. We all are on our phones all the time. This is what you do. And so that helped. And then I really started to involve him. So I would ask him for his opinion. I would say, hey, what do you think about this idea? Or look at this transformation of this person that I helped. Like, this is awesome. Like, I love seeing people get results. And I try to pull him in and start asking for his opinion on anything about the business, on the business side that I could ask him for. And so slowly but surely, about 18 months to 2 years into it, things started to change. But it really was 12 to 18 months before I trucked away regardless of what he thought, and I just did it. I just did it anyways.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My God, sincerely, Melanie, I'm a coach since 2 years now, and I took so much notes. Sometimes tough love for leaders could be really, really great. There's trust the process is the quote that I'm gonna spread and share with my teams. They know it, but sometimes they're like afraid, then gonna push not back a little bit more. But it's good for challenger, but also for coaches to trust the process.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And another quote that you said, surround yourself by successful people. And that's why I'm asking guest speaker like you to be on my team call, because I want to know everything. I want to know your thoughts and the way you work, but the way everybody works. And I think it's really important in that kind of business to share like you did with us today. So really, really thank you so much. I know Mélanie Kis want to say something.
Yes, again, thank you. I've heard a few things that you've said in the past, and it's good to hear it again. And I'm glad that you're saying, because then we'll be able to share it with the team. I love how you said call to action is to take action. And I say this because I have my diamond coach who is on fire. It got there really quickly, but was missing pieces of the puzzle to be able to continue it in a consistent way. And so I would give her tips, and over the weekend with Super Saturday, she took a lot of that information in, and she's not a diamond for nothing, because she takes the information I take and she puts it into action all the time. She doesn't just say, yes, 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 I'll do it. She does it right away. And while we were on the call, she just sent me a message saying, I have 4 people that I'm signing up today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's just on fire. So thank you for that. And I say this because I hope that the rest of the team will take action immediately.
Yes. Awesome.
So thank you very much for this call. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will see you later.
Excellent. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.